compare that to?
Oh my God, okay. So there's a great Geoduck story I gotta tell you. Okay, so in Washington State, the first time I heard my dad say, we're gonna go Geoduck hunting, I only thought it was a duck that was flying around in the air. The first time I heard my dad say, we're gonna go Geoduck hunting, I only thought it was a duck that was flying around in the air. But what it is, it's a little clam. It's actually not even a little clam, it's a clam the size of a little mini Nerf football. And the siphon on them are about this big, the girth on them are literally that big. So when you catch these, you can't catch them by yourselves. So when you look in the sand, if you look on the, when the surf comes up on the sand, you'll see these little spits of water, these little fountains of water coming out. Well, that's the geoducks and other crustaceans that are feeding, but you can really tell the geoducks because it looks like a little squirt gun. That's how it comes out. So once you've identified that, you have to put your finger, create a mold around it, and then when you do that, you have to come in really close and then capture it. And then while you're holding onto it, your buddy's digging with the shovel, and what happens is the clam will be sitting here, the siphon goes this way and then goes up. So if you don't have somebody holding on to that, what's happening is that siphon goes right down and it goes this way, and you keep digging straight down. So that's why you have to hold on to it. And I kid you not when I say this, you can't have like some 5-year-old kid hold on to this thing. It'll literally pull them into the pit when you're digging this thing around. So you're holding on to this thing and your buddy's digging, and when he gets to where it's at, that's where you see a cluster of them. Sometimes you'll get like, anywhere from 15 to 20 of them. So at the end of the day, we would go home with a 3 5-gallon buckets full of these things, and then we'd get home, we would put them in cornmeal with water to assimilate the sand. It purges them, and then we would cut them, clean them, chop them, freeze them, put them in little 1 gallon or a half-gallon milk carton containers, and then we would put not acidulated water, but slight salinity in the water to keep a little bit of salt in there, and then we'd freeze them. So during the winter, we would make clam chowder with them. So going to your question, that's what we used to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
No, it's not something that's readily available. I can get it, but it's one of those ingredients that's very esoteric. You'd have to kind of educate the public on. It's kind of like going to Miami and having conch chowder. You can't come to the West Coast. You can have conch chowder because they can fly it in, but people on the West Coast are going to be a little bit more unfamiliar with conch chowder than they are on the East Coast. So it's kind of like the geoducks up in the Northwest. It's not really one of those staple items that you see or hear about a lot. When people see them, sometimes they look so ungodly because of the sheer size and the girth on them. People go, they kind of get freaked out about it. But you know what? You get in, you roll up your sleeves, you get down and dirty, and you make it happen. That's it. End of story.